What's up, everybody? Robert Van Valkenburg here at Kogen Dojo with AJ Rosales from Pure Performance Martial Arts out in Rockville, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, Pedro Sauer, who we are good friends with. You know, Helson and Pedro go way back, so anybody who's friends with, as Helson says, if Pedro's family. So good to have you guys out.
Yeah, man. Pedro's always everybody family.
Yeah, everybody. Jiu-jitsu family, right? Jiu-jitsu for everybody, right? That's one of his favorite things to say. One of our good friends who we came up training with, Jay, trains out at AJ's school.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy, Jay. You know, in the military, you know, I've been training for a while, and you know, he's the one that introduced everybody through Kogen and all that.
Yeah, he's been really supportive of what we've been doing. Him and Bowie are really tight, and then see Charlene in the background. She's going to be helping with a women's self-defense class that we got coming up.
Can't fit her big head. And she disappeared.
She did disappear. Yeah. So I just wanted to chit-chat a little bit about jiu-jitsu, kind of what brought you up to where you're at now, you know, how you got started, what it is that keeps you going. So how did you get started in jiu-jitsu? You've been training for what, 8 years or so?
I've been training for a while, but like since that I can remember, at least the hardest of heart of everything was like around 2007 is where I really started to get everything launched off. Getting started in jiu-jitsu is really funny. I was like a big cooker, you know what I mean, into cooking, and I opened a bunch of restaurants. You know, being a supervisor and all that stuff. One of my pizza cooks, he was into Kunfu Sanso, and you know, I started there. And in the back, they had like you know, a Gracie place. I think it was called Gracie Shark Jiu-Jitsu. And I always watched it. You know, after doing Kung Fu with Dominic, that was the guy's name. He would go into the jiu-jitsu. I'd take off. I'd go home. And then one day, you know, I found myself in the jiu-jitsu room. You know, and we went over armbar from the mount when somebody pushes you off, falling belly down forward. I thought it was really cool. And after that, I was set. You know what I mean? Letting somebody tell you when to stop is probably the coolest thing of jiu-jitsu, is that there's no other way to train it. You know, it's not like it's not about like being nice or anything like that. Everything is fundamentally, you know, into place to where you feel everything. There's no easy way of training jiu-jitsu. So that's the cool thing.
So where was that? What state were you in?
I was in Texas.
Yeah.
That's where I started. You know, and then eventually I moved to Dallas, and I started training on the RCJ, which is, you know, Carlos Machado. I got really heavy into it. I started to like it a lot, and then I found a job as a security officer. And in the back, they had a black belt named Steve Hall. He used to be a big competitor. He was under Alan Moeller, and it was free for any employee. So that's really what kind of took me off in 2007, 2008. Really put me to start training that. It turned into being free. You know what I mean? And after that, it was like every day in the gym. You know, and then after that, you know, traveling to, you know, Plano, Texas, training with Marcus the Wrecking Ball Hicks, and you know, just getting more heavily into the sport. And after that, you just became, you know, regular. Ended up moving back to Texas, El Paso, kept training, got my blue belt. You know, moved to Louisiana. You know, stopped training for a little bit, and then that's where I kind of fell into, you know, the fighting aspect of everything. You know, I trained a little bit, and then just for fun, you know, I just took a fight, see what would happen. Boom, started fighting after that. You know, a little later, I was like 3-3, and I just kept going from there.
Nice. Yeah. So, how long did you do MMA for then?
From 2009 to 2012, when I broke my leg.
Oh wow! How did you break your leg?
Just during jiu-jitsu training, you know what I mean? During the day class, you know, I went over like, you know, a really heavy set guy. He continued to try to take me down, you know. I was one of those, you know, MMA headset guys. You know, you're not going to take me down. I don't care. Kept fighting it. Eventually, you know, he got me down in a weird way. I stepped back wrong, and my leg snapped, you know.
How long were you off the mats for from that?
Probably about like 6-7 months. I was probably not walking for like 4 or 5, and immediately as soon as the doctor said you can put weight on it, I was on the mat.
So this actually came up last week when I was talking to Topaz Navarro. He was hurt for a while, and we were talking about what did you do during that time. Like, were you showing up at the school still? Were you like reading about jiu-jitsu, watching jiu-jitsu videos, or did you just kind of lay off and give yourself a break?
I mean, I kept watching, you know what I mean, a lot of, you know, instructional videos. I didn't go to the gym. It turned out that my break was really, really bad. You know, I ended up catching compartment syndrome
Oh, wow.
after it. So it actually became really, really painful after for a while, and I had to lay off of it for at least a couple of minutes. But for a while, like 3 months, I didn't really do anything. And I did kind of take a little bit of a head break, but I was always heavily involved. I was always still watching jiu-jitsu videos and all that other stuff. It's actually kind of funny because like in my open guard and a lot of stuff that I do, I'm very squiggly and like awkwardly flexible in certain areas, and a lot of people tell me how I did, but when I broke my leg, I wasn't able to do anything. So the elastic bands is one of the things that I was able to do. I was able to put pressure on the elastic band while having the cast on. So I would put the elastic band between my legs, boom, and I'd always be like pushing around and
nice.
working lasso and working my sweeps, and doing little stuff like that. And I still do that to this day with my hands, with the belt, and just practicing getting my knees in and out and all that good stuff.
Cool.
I did take a little bit of a layoff.
So thanks, Chris.
Somebody's trying to get somebody.
No, he's dropping off a menu for us. We're always here so late on Mondays that we decided to start getting food because we end up having a business meeting after class on
cool.
Monday nights. The owner, so
Man,
we
throw something in there for me too.
Yeah, we're here pretty late sometimes.
Got a long drive.
But I drive all day long, so I'm very familiar with that drive to and from Rockville. What would you tell somebody who gets hurt in jiu-jitsu, like about the mentality of how to deal with the injury and how to deal with that desire to train anyway, all that kind of stuff.
That's a great topic for everybody. The way I was raised was pedal to the metal, and if you were to ask me this 5-6 years ago, I'd be like, your finger hurts, your knee hurts, like big deal, you know what I mean? Big F deal, go train, do something that doesn't involve it. But now I really feel like it's very important to people to understand longevity. Yeah. And it's probably something that I didn't really start accepting in probably until about the last 2-3 years, because I used to love being that guy that like showed up at open mat 1 p.m. When they're changed, but hey yo, you want to roll? Boom, and then jump on the mat. Now if I did that, bro, I wouldn't get out of bed the next day for like an hour, so like I said, if you get hurt, I would say stay supportive, don't let it break you away, come to the gym, talk to people, but accept the fact that you are a little injured and it's gonna prolong your jiu-jitsu, or actually what comes into play is that it makes your jiu-jitsu worse than you actually anticipated to do, because you get an injury and you try to go and you do stuff, but you try not to do it so you don't hurt yourself, you know what I mean? So you practice bad technique, or not only that, maybe it just hurts you in the long run. So I would say now, take your time, get better. Jiu-jitsu is going to be here for a very long time. It has been here for a long time, so it's going to continue to be here for a long time. So don't rush, you know what I mean? It's going to take a long time for you to get good anyway. So, obviously the more you practice, you know what I mean, the better you get, but you want to practice healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you only have one body, and I've learned that. My elbows are messed up. You see my fingers are jacked. I've broken my leg. My shoulder's messed up. Ribs hurt. It takes a toll on your body, and understanding this, it helps you, prolong your career. You want to make it longer. So I recommend drink a lot of water, eat healthy, do at least 2 days of therapy, see a chiropractor once a week. That's a necessity. You need to see a chiropractor and do some type of PT at least twice a week to keep you healthy.
Yeah, especially if you're running a school. We've found this out the hard way that we're running so hard that like we're just getting beat up all the time, and not just that, but like the mental stress and the just all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. If you don't give yourself a break, you don't give yourself some kind of like like therapy, like you said, that physical therapy and chiropractor, whatever it is, that
you need that, man.
You're gonna have a shorter career than you should. And Pedro Sauer, we've all been to a bunch of Pedro Sauer seminars, and he definitely preaches that longevity thing. That's one of his big things, is like he wants to see you do jiu-jitsu forever. And I remember him talking about training with the Gracies coming up, and how every single guy that came in and went all out, like went hard, 100% of them don't train anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the guys that just kind of like rode it out and just kept coming in and kept just stuck to their pace. You know, those are the people that are still around, like himself. You know, and I mean, him and Helson are still training, so there's something to be said about that.
Exactly. It's like I always put the metaphor when it comes to that, like you want to be the sprinter that's running with the cross-countryers, but hanging at the back of the pack. Because if you're the sprinter that's running with the cross-country folks, and you're trying to stick with the cross-country folks, eventually you're going to get left behind, right? But if you play it smart and you're the sprinter, and you hang back while they're going forward, eventually you're going to run into each other, right? So, I mean, that's just how it goes. So I always say, you know, if you want to be the sprinter, I mean, you got to lay back at least, you know what I mean? You sprint for a little bit and then you lay back at least 2-3 days. You sprint for one good day and then you lay back for 2-3 days. You can't sprint all the time, you know, so I always put it back into that.
Well, what's one thing that you wish that you knew when you first were started doing jiu-jitsu or even MMA? Like, you wish that somebody had told you, or maybe they did tell you and you ignored it. Like, what's the one thing that would have changed your jiu-jitsu career for the better if you would have done it sooner, or if you would have known it sooner?
Probably if I would have had more preaching, like if I would have had more people pushing me to like, hey, take care of yourself, don't push, but I didn't. I had a lot more people like, don't be, you know, don't be a wussy, you know what I mean? Get up, push, get up, you know, it's not easy. Who said it was easy? You know what I mean? You're not gonna, if you get hurt in a fight, you're not gonna be able to stop, you know. They put the reality behind it, but I feel one thing that could change is, you know, taking it, you know, those 3 years, you know, 4 years, you know, doing the whole MMA thing, I went hard. I trained hard every day, in and out. I put my whole guts into it, you know, and it takes a toll on your body. You know, you mentioned, you know, what keeps you doing jiu-jitsu. You know, if they would have told me that I'm gonna have to continue to do jiu-jitsu the rest of my life to make sure that my body continues to be mobile, then I probably would have changed. I probably would have changed that whole thing in doing it, you know, because when I don't do jiu-jitsu is when I feel like I hurt the most.
Yeah.
You know, when I don't get on the mat for 3-4 days a week, my back hurts. You know, I can't sit down properly.
Stiffen up.
Yeah, I get really, it's like we're like real tin men. You know what I mean? The oil is the jiu-jitsu. I need to continue to.
That's a good way of thinking.
Yeah, you know, I got to get my body crunched and I got to get flexible. I got to move to keep my body mobile. You know, it's kind of like Elio. You know, Elio kept going and going and going and going and going, and then, you know, that real bad storm. There was a mudslide. I don't know if you know, but there was a mudslide, and the mudslide like knocked out his gym in the back of his house when he was older, and it took like all that prior to him trying to stay limber and work out his daily routine, and took that away, and that's how, you know, eventually Elio started getting, you know, older and stuff like that. That story came from Pedro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you have something like this that kind of keeps you going, and then all of a sudden it stops, then it's like life catches up to you really quick.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like those runners, you know, you see those old men that are like 76, 80 years old, maybe, you know, you estimate their age, but you never know how really old they are, and they're like walking, but in their head they're running.
Yeah.
Because probably they've been running for so long all their life, and that's the only thing that keeps them motivated. It's the only thing that keeps them alive. It's the only thing that, you know, pushes them to get out of bed, because, hey, I'm gonna run. I don't care. I'm 80 years old. They say I couldn't do it, but I'm gonna run those 3 miles, even if it takes me all day.
Right.
You know, so it's the same with jiu-jitsu. You know, jiu-jitsu keeps me, you know, humble. It lets me understand what life is. You know what I mean? And the reason I say that is because life is hard, and the biggest lesson that I have that transferred from jiu-jitsu is that no matter how hard life is, you know, and no matter good you're doing in life, something's gonna go wrong. And it's kind of like jiu-jitsu. No matter how good you are in jiu-jitsu, no matter how hard you train, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna train harder. There's gonna be somebody that's gonna beat you. So just keep going, man. You know, keep fighting, keep chirping. You know, even if it's slow.
Yeah.
Even if you go in and you do 2 shrimps and 1 sit-up sweep, and you still did something.
Yeah. True that. So, well, what's your favorite part of jiu-jitsu now? Like, what is it that's keeping you going? I mean, you're running a school, right?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
You know, I was managing and all that stuff, but it got really, you know, doing a lot of managing, teaching, and all that stuff. It gets hard. So, you know, trying to keep up with sales and all that stuff. So, you know, mostly teaching. You know, still, you know, running, you know, the kids program, kids Muay Thai program, Jiu-Jitsu, self-defense. You know, the adult Muay Thai. I teach Jiu-Jitsu and all that stuff. The one thing that I have learned is, you know, I'm fascinated with the actual structure, and how you actually have to use everything. You know, there's a science behind jiu-jitsu, and I think that's one thing that just fascinates me. You know what I mean? It boggles my mind of how the human body can manipulate or corrupt somebody's either force, mental preparation, or in general just what they want to do by one little step. I put my big toe on the floor and it changes the whole thing.
Yeah.
I look to the right, you know what I mean, and it changes the whole sweep. These things are very fascinating to me, and that's probably what my favorite thing about jiu-jitsu is it's a true form of art. You know what I mean? Like really.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, it's two dudes rolling around, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, come roll with me, and I'll see. I'll let you
see how technical it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, jiu-jitsu's, you know, I would literally didn't tell everybody to try jiu-jitsu. If you know, have anything doubtful in your body, in your mind, if you're scared of something, if, you know, you're an introvert, you know, personality, if you like to be by yourself, you don't like to talk, you know, anything, I think jiu-jitsu inspires a lot of people. You know, it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Everything about it is, try it, put your kids in it. You know what I mean? I always tell the parents, an instrument, a language, and jiu-jitsu.
That's a pretty good combination. Yeah.
And then you set your kids up for a great, you know, adulthood. You know, one instrument, some type of foreign language, and give them jiu-jitsu, and then they'll be okay.
That's a good
Or at least
combo.
not jiu-jitsu. You know, give them Muay Thai, give them judo, give them something that inspires. You know what I mean? Adversity, and that's the biggest thing that challenges youth right now is adversity. There's no getting over walls anymore. Everything is just handed down.
Yeah.
You know, because there's so much struggle in the past that nobody wants anybody to struggle anymore. So.
Yeah. It seems like these days, if a kid's struggling, that the tendency is to take the struggle away, not to teach the kid how to overcome
Exactly,
it.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not how I was raised. But you know, if you give them jiu-jitsu, no matter what in jiu-jitsu, you're gonna understand the struggle, even if you're good. Because when you get good, you understand the struggle of like, how come I'm not getting better?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or when you're not good at jiu-jitsu, first start, you start with a struggle of like, they beat me up.
Yeah.
So it's
And you reach plateaus too, where
all the
like
time.
you feel like, you know, you're stagnant, or you even feel like you're going backwards.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you hit another stride. As long as you keep coming back, that's the catch. You know, when you hit those plateaus.
Exactly.
If that makes you not come anymore, you're never gonna get past it.
I always tell people, I was like, when you hit that part where you feel like you're not learning anything jiu-jitsu, that's when you're learning. You get past that part, you will learn, I promise you. But when you hit that part and you're like, oh, jiu-jitsu sucks, I'm not learning anything, I suck, I'm not doing anything right, and then they leave, I mean, that's why you're not a black belt, or that's why you don't get your next belt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't be the person to go in and ask for your belt.
Amen to that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, Professor.
Don't be the parent to ask for the belt for the kid either. Yeah.
When am I gonna get my purple belt? You know what I mean? Or the parent, you know, that does that too. Hey, you know, we've been here for like 2 years. You think he's gonna get his belt soon? You're like, your kid's been here for 2 years, but do you see how he rolls? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how it is, you know. But other than that, you know, I guess. You know, the conversation was great. You know, Rob.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you have any other questions for me.
Well, just do you guys have anything going on at your school that you want to promote?
We just had, you know, David Porter. You know what I mean? The Mongoose Porter. We just had him, you know, not too long ago. I'm gonna try to get him back in March.
Good.
Other than that, you know, just basic class. You know what I mean? We have class Monday and Wednesday. You know, typically fundamental class, and then at 8 o'clock we have, you know, the advanced class and all that other stuff. I would promote, you know, open mat. You know what I mean? But it's kind of a ways from here for people to drive over
Yeah,
there.
I mean, some people
it's
are
from 1 to 3 o'clock, but you know, and right now it's
on what
specifically
days?
Saturdays.
Saturdays.
You know, other than that, you know, not really anything too specific. Like I say, we're a real family-oriented gym, so everything that we have, we're really happy to have. You know, everybody that we have, because you know, like I say, jiu-jitsu's not easy. You know what I mean? It's really hard, and it's hard to find people who want to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want to start.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell people that. Or like, oh, I gotta get in shape for. I was like, man, there's nothing gonna get you in shape for jiu-jitsu. Go run for a year straight. Bring your ass in here. Do an 8-minute row. I promise you, you're gonna be gasping for air.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing that prepares you. Just do it, man. put yourself up, set yourself up for like 1 year contract somewhere, and do it for a year. You know, if you don't like it after a year, you don't like it. You tried it for a year, you know, but don't go in there and try it for 2 months and it's like, oh, I tried it, it wasn't for me. I mean, because you didn't even, right there at 2 months, you're like putting your tip of your toe in the hot jacuzzi tub. You're not gonna put your foot until like 4 or 5 years later.
Yeah.
You know, that's how jiu-jitsu is. You don't get fully in the jacuzzi and jiu-jitsu until you're like 20 years down the road.
Yeah. Well, what's your guys' website? Is it just Pure Performance?
It's Pure Performance MAC at info.
Okay.
Info at Pure Performance. That's what it is. Info at pureperformancemac.com.
Okay, that's the email address.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. And you guys are out in Rockville. We're at KogenDojo.com, 549 Baltimore Annapolis Boulevard out in Severna Park. We have a guest instructor here every Monday night teaching different stuff. Tonight we're going to be going over some omoplata stuff. AJ's bringing it out. I like to ask the guys that are coming out, and girls, if you got, anybody you want to recommend to come out and teach a women's seminar or workshop, we'd love to have that too. But I always ask them, what is it that you're working on? What's your specialty? What's the thing that's interesting to you right now? And AJ said he wants to do some omoplata stuff, so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yep. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Let's get at it.